Ramblestream number 83.
I was hoping you'd get the number wrong.
No, I did look at the agenda today.
Dang it.
What is the name of this one?
It is Discomfort.
Is Discomfort
good or bad?
Good or bad? I thought the thumbnail one was different though.
The thumbnail is different.
What does it say?
It says, is discomfort necessary?
Necessary. Is discomfort the point?
Is it the point? Uh-oh. Timeout.
No sound?
No sound.
Gosh. Okay, well, no. I mean, he's probably just screwing with you.
I swear, I've done everything. Okay.
It's
Kelly.
just Dan Radimski. Oh, no, it's Kelly Chrisman.
Unbelievable. Making me freak out.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks, Multifarious. Appreciate you looking out.
I was practicing my silky voice there at the beginning, too. I would be really disappointed if that didn't come through.
You know, I did ruin a moment of yours beforehand with your nice Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh, Dr. Frankenstein's
impression. So.
So.
Oh, Grant's on the Janus Motorcycles page. What's up, Grant? Well, we should do the thing, telling people what to do.
Oh yeah.
Who are you?
So yeah, welcome to the Ramblestream. If you can't tell, the little what is it, ribbon at the bottom tells you what to do already. But tell us where you're viewing from, what your handle is, what you ramble with, and last but not least, what you're sipping on. My name is Richard, founder and designer here at Janus Motorcycles, broadcasting from TT, our fabrication shop, just south side of Goshen, historic south side actually.
Wow.
And I ramble with a KLR 650 and a Halcyon 250, number 68. That's also, if you have a ramble with a Janus, tell us what the serial number is and the model. We want to know the details.
We want to know. We need to know.
We need to know.
Especially from you, Gary Smith. We already saw your comment come through, though.
Copy and paste.
Diet Dr. Pepper. Delicious. My name is Jansen, also coming at you live from TT, getting over a little head cold. I had a fisherman's friend, and so did Richard. Don't suggest eating, if you don't know what a fisherman's friend is, it's like a cough drop on steroids. I don't suggest putting one of those in your mouth and then taking a sip of bourbon. It is not pleasant. Don't do it. So getting over a little head cold, rambling in a Tesla, which is such a oxymoron, and it makes me very happy.
Right. And that your point about the fisherman's friend and drinking bourbon brings me to reminded me that I'm drinking Jansen's Treat. What are we drinking tonight?
A little Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace.
It's delicious.
With a little branch water.
A little bit of branch.
Well, we've got another good program for you this evening. We have some fun announcements. We're going to talk about builds of the week. We've got a thing of this world, which I didn't pick. Jansen's going to be picking something of his own, a thing of his own that he's going to be talking about. We'll cover some social media comments. We hope there's some hateful ones, maybe.
Yes.
Hateful social media comments.
I've got one in particular that I don't even need to read.
Okay, well, just go for it.
I remember it. Junk. That was it. That was the comment.
Great. Very substantial.
Yes, very thought-provoking. Made me really think about it. I'm getting some comments about our sound, that there's some echoing going on. Is that true for everybody? Double talk here like an echo. And then Chris338 says that definitely doesn't sound. Oh, he's talking about.
He's not talking about the fisherman's friend.
I'm so paranoid, guys. I'm so paranoid. Okay. I think we're gonna keep going.
Okay, we'll talk. The ham radio guy knows his sound, so we're gonna go with N8 ARB.
You want to hit us up with a little poem?
Yeah, let's do the poem.
Let's do the poem.
So I'm reading this evening out of the. This is the second half of a Robert Frost anthology that fell apart.
Hold on,
I
just want to show them from above what this looks like.
So this is, I think the name of this one was, I don't actually know. Yeah, I don't know, but it's a collection of Robert Frost poetry.
Half a collection, please.
Half a collection, and so I picked one for us tonight. We don't need to show everybody all our passwords there on that piece of paper. This one is called, and I thought this is a really good one for rambling. Robert Frost's An Unstamped Letter in Our Rural Letterbox. Last night your watchdog barked all night, so once you rose and lit the light. It wasn't someone at your locks. No, in your rural letterbox, I leave this note without a stamp to tell you it was just a tramp who used your pasture for a camp. There, pointed like the pip of spades, the young spruce made a suit of glades. So regular that in the dark the place was like a city park. There I elected to demur beneath a low-slung juniper that like a blanket to my chin kept some dew out and some heat in. You left me freely face to face, yet left me freely face to face all night with universal space. It may have been at 2 o'clock that under me a point of rock developed in the grass and fern, and as I woke, afraid to turn, or so much as uncross my feet, lest having wasted precious heat, I never should again be warmed, the largest fire drop ever formed from 2 stars having coalesced went streaking molten down the west. And then your tramp astrologer, from seeing this undoubted stir in heaven's firm-set firmament, himself had the equivalent, only within. Inside the brain, 2 memories that long had lain now quivered toward each other, lipped together, and together slipped. And for a moment all was plain, that men have thought about in vain. Please, my involuntary host, forgive me if I seem to boast. 'Tis possible you may have seen, albeit through a rusty screen, the same sign heaven showed your guest. Each knows his own discernment best. You have had your advantages. Things must have happened to you, yes, and have occurred to you in doubt, if not indeed from sleeping out. Then from the work you went about in farming well, or pretty well. And it is partly to compel myself, in forma pauperis, to say as much. I write you this.
Wow.
That was a rambler. Rambler stopped in his field.
That was something else. He just kept going. Let's hit some comments up here. Thanks for that, Richard. I like that poem a lot. This is.
It's been a while since I read that, so I apologize for the missteps. But.
You know, I wasn't going to say anything until after the stream was over, but yeah, no.
Happens to the best of us.
What's up, Jeff? Yo, Janus Fab Shop Monkey here. Halcyon 250 number 87 in Elkhart, Indiana, sipping on some Mountain Dew. Yum. Yum.
Yeah, we got some good comments.
Yeah, let's. I'm gonna scroll back to the top here to catch some of them. Jeff Kelly. Hi, Richard.
Hey, Jeff.
Got Charles here. Howdy from the Maryland Eastern Shore, rambling with Halcyon 250, number 454. That's a rhyme. And Phoenix 30, drinking agua. Agua. Kelly's up in here. Hello. Who else?
Was it that?
Which one?
Southeastern Indiana, soon to be rambling on a 250, a 25. Sorry, Halcyon 450, number 412. My vision is.
No, that's really tiny. I will give it to you.
Special 87 Suzuki GL 450, sipping ginger ale.
Ginger? Okay.
Scott is right below there. Scott came in to our last Discovery Day.
I heard from a bird that he just came in and mooched coffee and donuts off of us.
Pretty much.
That's what I heard.
He also gave a great testimonial of how much he loves his Janus bikes to the visitors. Good to see you, Scott, and all of you are welcome to, if there's a Discovery Day, stop in and say, hey, just don't steal any donuts.
Well, you can, maybe just one. John Strawdog, hey everybody, Halcyon 250 number 769 Zur. In New Hampshire, sipping V5 brandy over ice. What is V5 brandy?
Cheers.
Let's see who else is on.
Oh, Dan Radimsky. Let's pull up that one.
Yeah,
Dan says, Blue Ridge Mountains, a month ago I had 6 bikes. Now I have a Vespa. Sipping water. Dan, we just got your bike. I think it came in today. Dan is selling all of his worldly possessions and rambling to far off parts. So congratulations, Dan, on your rambling spirit. I'm in awe. Say that. And I'm sure that Vespa is going to come in handy.
Oh, it's going to be so sick. I'm ready for pictures. Mark is in here. Sprite here in Fayetteville. Halcyon 250 number and special G250. Griffin 250 in the
In
oven.
the oven. Nice.
Nice. And where are you moving? I'll let him answer that.
Yep. Cool.
Cool. Well, it's so good to have you guys in here. We have a great show, as Richard was saying. We're talking about discomfort, but first, a fan favorite. This portion of the stream has been brought to you by
Mitch McLean.
Mitch McLean. That was close. We almost got it. It is builds of the week time. This first motorcycle is an inventory Halcyon 250. It's number 1,190. If you are looking to buy a Janus motorcycle, a Halcyon 250 in particular, this one is for sale and ready to be bought. Maybe it might already be gone. I'm not sure, but I did peek at this one a little bit, so I can't play the fun guessing game, but Richard can. Let's see here. That's a unique angle that I've never seen before.
That's a new one. Okay, there we go. Going together nicely.
Kind of moving through these.
We've got a tool bag or a tool roll bracket.
That's
That's
another unique angle.
This is a hand upholstered leather rolly cart by Chase Borden with shock absorbers on it.
You know, and a fun fact: these normally come in red.
Yeah.
They're orange here, which is those covers. They're orange, which is crazy. Getting wild out here. Oh, I see a little seat.
Oh, we got saddle brown. We got, looks like, is that OD green or British Racing Green?
I can never tell the difference.
Let's say OD green. We'll guess. This is the wide line seat.
That looks black.
That looks black.
That looks satin.
That looks satin olive drab.
That looks like a Rogue picture.
Yeah. Yep.
That
looks like not satin.
That doesn't look.
Or maybe that's the well, let's keep going. It's olive drab, whatever it is.
I'm very curious now. I haven't gone this far.
Got the electrical going together. Brake system, speedometer sensor, olive drab. Olive drab. Single
with
pinstripe.
Cream.
Oh no, it's cream, and I think I see a second pinstripe color.
Is it
Keep going. Keep going. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Vintage red. Very nice. That's very crisp.
That looks
distinguished.
That looks very good. I like how discreet it kind of is.
Mm-hmm. You barely see it.
There's another picture. That cream really pops.
Mm-hmm. The cream and the olive drab.
Yeah.
White with olive drab. It's good on the Fort Goshen because it looks like a military bike. But I like the cream.
A little more understated.
That's snappy. The cream.
That looks like
really pops.
Yeah, it's like bold.
It's a 450 feather logo on a 250. And
that's the last picture.
All right. Well, it's coming together.
That's a good looking motorcycle.
Next up, we have, he's in the chat. We have Jeffrey Kelly with a Halcyon 250 number 1194. Mitch says, thanks for the beer. And actually, we all do. Thank you for the beer. We actually did our staff meeting 2 weeks ago. Instead of up at HQ, we did it down here at TT and gave everybody a tour, showed them a lot of the improvements, and enjoyed some lovely beer from Mr. Jeffrey.
I didn't get to drink any.
Well, you should show up on Thursday.
All right, let's see here. This is a Halcyon 250. I'm not sure. I can't remember if you said that or not.
I did. Yeah, the engine's going in together.
Moving
right coming together. We got a tool roll back as well. We got a book rack going in the back. Saddle brown leather.
Classic. Let's see.
Shock absorbers going on there.
I don't know what color.
Okay.
Cream.
I don't actually know either. You're gonna go cream. I'm gonna go something different. I'm gonna say blue.
Blue.
Not Charlevoix blue. We're gonna go with Indy blue.
Okay.
Okay. This is this is British Racing Green. Good choice though.
Okay, yeah. Now looking at them side by side, it's a little more deep.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like the British Racing Green better.
Nice. Well, that's the original color. We've been doing that from all the way back to the 50 cc's. Is that? No, I'm double guessing myself, but that's beautiful green. Whatever it is, whichever one, Indie or British, with cream and gold.
Gold? Richard and I are locked in today.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Okay, this is great. Okay,
this is
guys. Okay, you're getting to see the paint in process. There's Kelly right there. Is that Kelly or Brent? I can't
tell.
Anyway, they are pinstriping the tank right there in the picture. You see on there the mask for the feather logo and the mask for the Halcyon. So they put the vinyl decal on there, and then that's how they guarantee uniformity across all the models, and everything lines up. Nice.
That looks really good.
Is it gold and gold?
It's gold and gold.
Does it look like two different colors?
It looks
It's
like
just
two different
thinner.
colors there.
Yeah. All right, well, let's keep going. Oh yeah,
That
classic.
looks so good.
I still can't tell if it's which green it is, but that looks like British Racing green with gold pinstripe.
Yeah.
Classic. Very nice. Very nice. Ooh, we got some polished engine fins coming together. We've got some great photographs. I love this.
What a classic combination. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, polished exhaust.
Yeah.
That's the last one.
Okay.
Gosh, that's a good looking bike.
Mitch, great work with the photographs. I like it kind of getting some different angles.
Yep. Kelly Green, Jeff Kelly says.
Kelly Green. Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's what it's very, got a lot of blue in it. All right. Next up, Jason with a 450. I saw this one on the stand. Number 378 going to Wisconsin. I believe this is pewter.
Pewter.
I could be wrong. It might be a satin. No, it's like a pewter. Yeah. It looks like a metallic sort of silver, but it's more like a metal.
It's kind of flaky.
Yeah,
yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, it's nice.
It's like a metallic flake. It's not really like a sparkle flake, but like a metallic-y flake.
Yep. Oil cap with the oil weight you're supposed to put in there.
Nice little touch.
Mm-hmm. 450 motor in there. Ooh. Look at these photographs. So this is all the color matched chassis parts going on the bike. Obviously, the green one down there at the bottom is not going on this build.
That would be a statement.
Well, Ryan has always wanted to after maybe all the years collect one of each color and just build a bike. That's called. He wants the Harlequin bike, and it would just be one of every single color. I think that'd
be pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
I'd be here for that. Exhaust on the wall, some fenders up.
Yep, there we go. Nice. Oh, we got silver, which is that's very nice. Silver pinstripe, but did I see black on the tank?
It does.
Or is it this tank?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
We're about to find out.
Coming together.
The suspense is killing me.
Got that's the oxblood leather.
That looks more brown in this
picture. It does
picture.
in this photograph. I don't think the photograph is very.
I think it's actually the TV. Look at it on the
laptop. Yeah. Y'all can probably see it better than we can. We have a big monitor.
Let's see.
Double silver pinstripe on the fenders. Now let's see what's on the tank. I'm expecting it to be silver.
When's it happening?
Lots of pictures.
Whoa!
It's silver.
Nope, it's silver.
So that tank we saw was a similar color, but it was with a black pinstripe.
Ooh.
We got polished exhausts, copper feather logo
instead of silver.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I'm here for that.
And then you have a headlight visor. You got the pillion rack on the back. Very nice.
That looks so good.
Black bars.
This has been Builds of the Week, brought to you by Mitch McLean. Now on to something that I've been excited about for the last 30 minutes. I packed this real nice for you guys just so you could see what its full potential is.
Okay, well, walk us through the specs here.
Okay.
Jason. You want to go to the overhead camera?
Yeah, that's a good idea. This is called, or the brand that makes this is called Alpaca.
Alpaca.
Okay. It is a sling bag.
It's not a misused fanny pack.
It is not a misused fanny pack.
Okay. Or a man purse.
It is a sling. It could also be a purse.
Okay.
I don't call it that because
obviously
it's not that to me. But I like this because if I am going somewhere, I've become over time, I've become just like so annoyed at things in my pockets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I need something that can take these things out of my pockets, put them in a place where it's easily accessible, and I don't have things flapping around, and I could even hold more, but I don't want a backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got
so this is like EDC out of the pocket.
Right. This fine, sweet spot, like out of the pockets into this. I do keep some things in my pocket, like my phone, sometimes a knife. But for the most part, everything stays in here. Now, I found this company through YouTube, just the way that I buy things is I overly research something and then I make a decision. So this was part of my deep dive into these sling bags.
I'll have to do a thing with my bag, which we're modern little YouTubers.
Modern shoppers, you know?
We do research. I mean, I've been wanting it for like 3 or 4 years, and finally, I got a used one on eBay.
Hey, yours is a lot bigger.
It's
than
a lot
mine.
bigger though. It's not. This is not something that is as handy as this. So
Yeah.
like, it might be a good contrast.
Yeah. Okay.
Not to
So
steal your thunder.
no stealing here. One of my favorite features, believe it or not, is this little quick release strap.
Or just slides sideways.
It slides sideways and it's magnetic, and it just clips on. So
And
if
you can't pull it off the same way.
you can't pull it off at all. It just has to slide, but it's really easy to put back. It's really convenient to take off before you get into the car. You've got a front pocket up here. It's really nice.
Now, is this attached to your your chest armor?
Yeah, on my chest armor, my
night
plate
vision?
my plate carrier with my nods and all that fun stuff. Yeah. Now the piece of resistance here.
It folds open like a little.
It's like a little accordion.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a bright orange interior, which I love. I won't go through all of this stuff, but I'll show you a couple of my favorives. This is like kind of an EDC territory for sure. So I've got
That's okay. EDC is cool.
a pen, of course, for all my note taking. I've got this knife here, which is just a cheap Amazon knife. The company is called Civivi, I think. I'm not even sure how you say it. But it's button lock, and it's really nice to hold in the hand. It's really dull because I've used it a lot. So I keep that in there all the time. That's my favorite knife. I've got my wallet here, and I also have a little. This is what I was pointing to, Richard, that I think you'd like. So this is a ratcheting screwdriver.
Okay.
It has your bits up here. Also
locked and loaded.
Orange.
Okay. All right.
Feel that. So that's
so you turn it, and what happens? You
just pull it. You don't even have to turn it. It's just friction fit.
All right.
So that is Linus Tech Tips. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's a YouTuber. That's his screwdriver that they spent years kind of perfecting and manufacturing. So the ratcheting is really good.
Do you carry this with every day?
I carry this with me every single day.
Right.
So I carry this as well as my little Gerber multi-tool here.
Nice.
It's called the Dime. I carry that with me everywhere I go. So I'm pretty prepared for the most part. But this has I've got some camera accessories in here. I've got my keys. I've got my headphones. I've got my sunglasses. My aforementioned fisherman friends. Just anything you can possibly think of that you're going to need at a quick notice.
So when you on a daily basis, how often do you find yourself actually opening it up and getting in there?
Often.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not for my wallet, it's for the screwdriver.
So you keep your wallet in there.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Okay.
It's right there in that little pocket tucked away.
So this is literally on you at all times.
Practically at all times, unless I'm sitting somewhere or going to be somewhere for an extended period of time, I take it off. But yeah,
was it weird when you first started trying to use it?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think you just get in the habit. It kind of becomes an accessory like a watch at some point, right? Where you're you just put it in, you get out of the car and you put it on. You get in the car, you take it off, right? I think it just becomes a part of my routine, or it has become a part of my routine.
Do you think it helps you ramble?
I think it helps me stop being so freaking annoyed at the things flapping around in my pockets. And it also I know where the things are at all times.
You think you carry more stuff because of it?
I think I carry more stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I am better for carrying that stuff.
Okay. So stuff you would have had in your pocket anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not necessarily the screwdriver. But like the knife and my wallet and some of the camera accessories, it would have been jumbled in the bottom of my backpack anyway. So this I found has made a nice home for some stuff.
You know, when I was in traveling in school, I studied overseas, and I had a camera bag. It was about that size, kind of a man purse. And it had the camera in it, but then it had a what's the comment?
Yeah, that's a purse.
Yeah.
Hey man, no, it's a sling. Okay. If it's a purse, it's a purse.
Yeah, I had a similar small bag, and I found it to be invaluable. And I ended up, I didn't mean to, because I was carrying a camera a lot with me. It was an old Nikon DSLR, which I wanted to protect. It had a waterproof cover that you could cover over it. But the best thing about it was that I could keep a notebook in the outside cover. That's
nice.
And pens and whatever else you needed. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've definitely found that. I've kind of gone the upsizing it route with a larger bag, but I can keep my laptop in it.
Right. See, so I've got a backpack too, right? Gosh, I feel like we both love bags and could talk about bags.
Does your little bag like connect to the big bag?
No, my big bag is a separate thing. It could possibly, but I found that my backpack is really good for holding my laptop, for holding my camera, and for holding any like bigger items that I have. But I found that no matter how many like tiny little nooks and crannies or like little pockets that the backpack advertises it has, it still just ends up in the big pocket at the bottom, kind of jostled around. So this has been great for all of those little things that are just jostled around.
How would you use it on a motorcycle?
Well, lots of ways. I mean, you could put your entire toolkit.
Would you carry it over your shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, so let me just do a little demo for you. You ready?
Let's do it.
So it's really nice. It's not a fanny pack, so it doesn't go around your waist.
It could though.
But it just goes around one arm and stays here and is relatively secure. I mean, it's not going anywhere. They also have a third strap.
Because like go through your legs?
That can that would be awesome. No, it could possibly, but it goes around your waist, so it secures it even more. But yeah, you can put your whole toolkit in here. You can put your maps in here. Like,
you know where I think that idea came from? I bet you, especially with the fanning out, is fishermen.
Yeah, for sure.
That's this kind of bag, like fly fishermen use, and it opens up like this, and they can access their like flies and stuff like that. I bet you that's where that concept comes from.
It's water resistant. I would argue almost waterproof. I wouldn't dunk this, but it's water resistant. So like if you're going, it's got the little liner for the zipper. So if you're going fishing, you can definitely take this thing.
Well, I'm just kind of trying to connect it back to rambling a little bit, and I think that it's obvious that this is somewhat technical.
Yes.
Little piece of equipment.
Yes.
But it definitely comes in handy for when you're on the move, doing stuff and bringing stuff with you.
It's a magnet. It's
pretty cool. So thanks for bearing with us there on our little EDC journey.
Gosh, I'm a sucker.
Thanks, Jansen.
Absolutely.
That's great.
I'm a sucker for EDC. I'm a sucker for things that can make your life a little more convenient that you didn't know that you needed.
I've always kind of like felt like I should think that EDC is cringe, but then I just enjoy it so much that it's. And then when we did that, I don't know if you all saw I did an episode. Man, it was last fall on EDC, and I compared modern EDC to this prehistoric man who was found with everything he had, and he literally had an EDC kit with like literally it was like the same thing.
Yeah,
and you could make like one-to-one comparisons with all the things that you carry with you, and that people are interested in. And so there's something really natural about maybe this sort of weird YouTube. Funny we're saying this on YouTube,
right?
Genre where people maybe talk about it more than they actually use it. It's a little weird.
Like that,
but part of rambling is actually like being prepared. Like
that's what I was going
to say. And maybe like enjoying the being prepared, the preparing process.
And there is something to like collecting things too, right?
Oh yeah, collecting is totally.
That's a
most of you all who are watching this probably are engaged in some sort of unnecessary collecting.
Yeah. And I feel like EDC is kind of one of those things. It just so happens that it is kind of like I don't know if glamified isn't a word, but it's like,
Yeah,
it's very
I know what
like,
you
look at this $600 knife that I got. It's like, does it? You
Multifarious says can confirm the fisherman angle.
okay? So definitely,
Yep.
it makes sense that it's also really convenient. The placement of it is right at your chest. It's really easy to reach out. I've never ridden with it on, but I would imagine I could quick access while I'm even riding.
Jeff Blind says I have a mini tool bag that I carried everywhere for years. Loved it.
See, Jeff,
I get it. Sorry.
You got to get on the crossbody train, man. And when you're going to amusement parks, it's perfect.
Oh, because your stuff doesn't fall out of your pockets.
Yeah, you don't have your pockets.
That is one thing that my little wallet that I featured a while back that I've had. I think I need to like rough it up or something because it keeps falling out of my.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I just need a little man purse.
Maybe crossbody. Referee Moto says a TGT, a tactical gear transporter. Yes. Oh gosh, Richard, don't drink. There's a bug in your cup.
Okay.
Wait, is he pulling our leg again?
Oh, I think maybe he actually was looking down from the top, and you're seeing a chip in my enamel.
Oh. Grant says it's a mani pack. Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, there's so many good names, so many fun little names. Still correct me up, Charles, with that. Yeah, it's a purse.
Okay, so we got any social media, any other great golden
none that I've pulled, but there's been
other than junk.
There's been an overwhelming amount of questions about the engine. It seems like it comes in waves, and it often seems like the biggest deterrent to a Chinese engine isn't the engine itself.
It's the
idea of
getting it from there.
Yeah,
which is I mean, somewhat understandable. I mean, I can get if it's had a reputation for so long.
Yeah.
But what we focus on is does it work?
Yeah.
Is it the right fit?
Right.
Where can we get it anywhere else?
Right. So I had a question in my head based off of that. I've seen a few comments say that there isn't even an American manufacturer that makes either a 250-ish engine or a 400cc-ish engine in America. Is that true?
Accurate, yeah. I mean, there are some like Briggs and Stratton, but I think it's a really good example to talk about like Briggs and Stratton, where it's like, yes, you could put a Briggs and Stratton in, but you would end up with a product that wouldn't actually be as good as these beautiful, like the 250, the bulletproof 250 is just superb motor that I have so much fun riding and shifting the gears. If you use the Briggs and Stratton, there's no transmission. There's just it's not a motorcycle.
Some people would like that.
Maybe for like a pit bike.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're just putting the lawnmower engine in your motorcycle, really. I mean, which is gonna get more hate. You're not gonna make everybody happy.
No, but I mean, get back to the roots of it. Like both the 250 and the 450 are perfect solutions to what we're trying to do, which is a simple motor that actually gets you out on the highway, rambling around, and parts availability, easy to work on. Anyone, and I mean, I will put this to anyone if you wanted to. You don't have to, as a Janus owner, but if you wanted to, you could do all the maintenance.
Yeah.
They're that simple. So
I learned how to do it. If I learned how to do it,
well,
you can learn how to do it. Yeah, I was kind of
Janus for a while.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we don't want to talk about that. That's not important. Yeah, I think it just speaks to kind of the thought process. And I think there's a lot of people who discount the fact that we're a small motorcycle manufacturer who doesn't have endless loads of capital to go and reverse engineer specific motors and make American made.
You would not want it if with the amount of time we have under our belt and the experience we have. If we were to develop a motor from scratch right now, or at least up until now, we would you would not want to be relying on it.
No.
So yeah, we are so pleased with those little motors, and really we have great relationships with the 250 engine manufacturer. We have a great importer. It's classic motorcycle manufacturing. I mean, if you go back to the early days of motorcycling, very, very, very few brands. Most brands were quite small, and very few of them made their own engines. And so they would bring in best motor they could find. Often like in the early days, it was a Didion single. And then you get up to the JAP, JA Prestwick motors that went in rough superiors. I mean, the list goes on with all the different motorcycles that use the same or similar power plant. So we feel like we're actually participating in an ancient history of using these. And unfortunately, because we're doing something completely different than what everybody else is doing, the only engine you can get in the U.S. really that's made here is a very large V-twin, which wouldn't be the best fit for our bikes, at least as they are right now.
That really makes sense. If you take American manufacturing as a whole and be like, yeah, we're a V-twin for sure. Like American manufacturing is a V-twin.
It has a long history of it too.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Where were those engines made? The ones that you were listing off, I think is what he's talking about.
JAPs were British. The Dions were French, I want to say.
Okay.
But they were, that's where the only place they were really making engines at all at that point. Yeah.
Russell Peter says that's where Indian made their mistake, and I'm not exactly sure what he's referencing, but I would imagine. Do you know anything about Indian in their motorcycle engine thought process about
like India or Indian?
I think he's saying Indian motorcycles.
Indian motorcycles. Yeah, Indian motorcycles. They are making, Polaris owns Indian. So they're making Spirit Lake. They're making their beautiful motors. But again, that's a traditional American, really a wonderful, they've really, I think, answered the modern American motorcycle engine pretty well. If you're going for that big cross-country touring bike vibe. They do a great job at it. They don't make anything anywhere closely resembling what we would be interested in, at least at this point.
Right.
Mark says JAP ? Remember the JAP? Yes, I did. I did just talk about JA Prestwick. These motors.
JA Prestwick.
It's a great example. They win in everything. Right up to to the Rolls Royce of motorcycles, rough superior. Yes, and they were a British company. Yes, indeed.
So yeah, I think that's just some interesting thought processes on, like, I think if it made sense for Janus to manufacture or to source from a different place, we would, right? Like but I've ridden these bikes a lot too, and they're awesome.
And the quality is really, it's second to none.
Yeah,
they're there's a reason we call it the bulletproof motor. So,
right.
Yeah. It is interesting that it does come in waves, and I think it's when we break into a new demographic.
Yeah, so
you get a lot of those, and so basically, whenever I always laugh, whenever we get the most hateful comments, it's like, all right, we're hitting new people.
If you were to take the amount of Chinese engine questions and put them in parallel with the Hugh Janus jokes, if you were to put them on a line graph, they would be like so close to each other all the time. I've just started responding to those. Oh, is the owner named Hugh? I just say nice to every single one. Nice. Period. Nice. Send.
Very original.
Done. The Hollister. Let's see what Dan is saying about the engines. The Hollister Indian was a Harley clone.
Are you talking about the is that what they were? What they call them? Hollister. The first rebirth of Indian in the late 90s, early 2000s. I want to say.
Yeah, it says when they tried to make their own engine, the company tanked. And
that wasn't the only reason they tanked, but yeah, there's a.
I'm sure we
should do a history of all these different brands.
That kind of sounds fun, yeah.
You're on YouTube. There's some great ones already.
Gary says, I always laugh when they complain about the Chinese-made engines on their Chinese-made cell phones.
Yeah,
it's a principle, and I can appreciate people standing up for their principles.
Mm-hmm. And you don't really ramble with an iPhone,
right?
To be fair,
right?
A motorcycle means something, so you do have to. For us, you have to kind of get around that. I think.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to figure out how to segue us into some news and events here.
Okay. Well, why don't we just
hey, this is a segue to news and events. Is that good?
That's perfect.
All right. I'll let you handle this one.
Okay. If you didn't realize already, we're in the year Anno Domini 2025, which means that it has been 10 years since we launched the 250 with its lovely little single-cylinder Chinese-made engine. That's a good segue
Now that
right
you're
there.
saying that would
That was
have
a
been a lot
segue.
better. That would have been a lot better.
It's been 10 years. And so we are celebrating that. And we will have a lot of fun news. I think the news will be launching some videos on this coming Wednesday. So 2 days from today. So stay tuned to our email list here on YouTube and on all the social media. We are very excited about that. Obviously, it means, not many motorcycle brands ever have even made it 10 years. And so we're really excited to, we've been around longer than 10 years, but not just with the 250.
Yeah.
We started off with a little 50cc two-stroke, and then in 2015 launched the 250 line with the Flight of the Phoenix party back in June. It was June 6th. So we're gonna almost to the day.
Days. Wow.
Almost to the day. We're gonna launch off a whole month of celebrations, culminating. Well, the month. How am I gonna say this? I'm trying not to give away the whole story.
Maybe.
We'll have some exciting stuff over the next month, and then the celebrations really will culminate at the owners rally.
Yeah.
Where we'll really be celebrating 10 years of the 250.
When is the owners rally?
It is the middle of September.
Our tickets
are available. It's going to be a banger. We're going to have a lot of fun things going on. We're reevaluating how we do the rally completely.
Nice.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. We have some different venues for stuff. We're actually starting it a day earlier.
Wow.
If I'm not letting too much out of the bag there. So we have more rides, more events, more fun stuff to go on. So I do encourage you, if you haven't already signed up for the owners rally, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of new stuff, and it's all going to be bigger and better. So
putting you on the spot here.
Yeah.
Live ramble stream?
Yeah, we'll probably do a live ramble stream. Yeah.
From the owners rally.
From the owners rally. We did it last year. It was a little bit like on the fly.
Uh-huh.
We'll do the whole like band.
We'll do the thing.
If you want to be on the Ramble Stream, then we'll welcome. Maybe we'll have a whole panel of Ramble streamers on the Ramble Stream. It'll be your one chance to actually be on the Ramble Stream and not just watching. So
looky there.
There we go.
Maybe
that's our main news. We have lots of other stuff all going on. We're working really hard on scaling up our production right now. We're working really hard on scaling up Griffin 450s. We know we've been delaying that for a very long time. We're working overtime to get you those bikes. So we, again, appreciate your patience.
Yeah.
We're doing everything we can.
Yeah. Chris says I should be able to go to that. The owners rally. Well, good. Chris, we're excited to see you there. We are going to be talking about discomfort.
Yeah, we're going to talk about discomfort.
Let's do it right now.
Okay.
I would like to hear your thoughts around, because I guess I'll just pose this. You hear often about how one's goal in life. I hear often how a person's goal in life is to like be as comfortable as possible.
Yeah, that's kind of like I think what we would describe as utilitarianism.
Utilitarianism,
philosophical approach. But basically, the idea would be that the highest good is to just coast along in the most comfort and safety possible, and that defines success for what it means to exist. And if we can guarantee that for the most people, everything's dandy.
Everything's good.
Everything's dandy. What I always think about when I think about that is, did you ever see that movie WALL-E?
Yeah. Gosh,
you know where I'm going with this?
First off, such a good movie.
It's a really good movie. WALL-E.
I was about to say I'm not gonna do that, but you did it for me.
No, it's a really good movie. It pictures all these people and they're on these like, is it like a space station or something?
Yeah, they're like
they're completely like happy and sedated and just doing their thing. I think they're like plugged into in front of screens.
Yeah, they're like on
IV tubes.
And they're on like floating, like levitating chairs. Yeah. So that just takes them everywhere.
like a Tesla.
Kind of like a Tesla.
I got beat you to it.
Dang it.
But yeah, like that. You end up basically at that,
Right.
and I'm gonna stick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to that. Like,
Yeah.
If that's your highest goal is comfort and safety, you've completely forgotten what it actually means to live a fulfilling life as a human being.
Yeah.
Which is to strive for. Well, maybe I'm getting too philosophical, but striving for excellence would be one of my criteria. And through that constant kind of push to do things better and to be great at something and to pursue excellence, you find meaning and joy. And joy is not something that you find in comfort. I mean, you can find like I think you satiety and like filling your stomach.
I would even say happiness
some
is
form of
found
happiness.
in comfort. But I think there's a really distinct definition of joy that is misinterpreted by a lot of the population.
I would even say that happiness is not found in that. I think you find like a certain level of contentment.
Yeah.
But like happiness is something that like when you've done a really good job, like you've worked on some kind of project, you've built something,
right?
Or you've taught someone something, or you've done some kind of like meaningful work. The feeling of fulfillment and joy that you get from that's the kind of happiness that makes us wake up in the morning. Right. Otherwise, why would you even bother?
Yeah.
You'd need to be sedated. You would be sedated.
I've heard it said joy is a choice, whereas happiness is a feeling.
I think it's how you define the words.
Yeah.
But I think I agree with what you're saying. So let's talk about that in terms of rambling a little bit. Like, what we just did, well, you filmed a
Jeff.
What did Jeff say?
I wake up every morning and piss excellent. That's right.
Well, I mean, on good days we all do.
Right.
But there aren't always good days.
No.
And that's what keeps you waking up to see what the next one will bring.
Exactly.
But you just did a film with Jansen's the guy behind the camera when we do these little short videos, which we're having fun. We're trying new stuff.
We're just exploring. Seeing what sticks.
And we did one on, what was the title of the one on Is It Dangerous?
Oh, isn't motorcycling, like, why would you ride a motorcycle if it's dangerous?
Right. And I think this is where the rubber meets the road, so to
Literally.
speak. Where with rambling, the whole idea is that to get in the zone, which I think is what I talk about in the Rambler's Companion, getting in the zone.
Not sponsored by AutoZone.
Yeah, no, not. Although, no, anyway, if we can work on that. No, the zone is this moment where, like, I've said this before, I realize, but where you're balancing between a kind of like a level of discomfort. And that discomfort, it could be a result of like, it's actually just like uncomfortable, or that you're scared. You're literally out of your comfort zone.
Right.
You're doing something that you're pushing the limits of your skill.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, you're enough in something that you understand and you have a habit of and you're skilled at, that you're balancing those two.
Yeah.
And that's one way of talking about the zone. And when you ride a motorcycle, you go through the same corner over and over and over again within your house, or maybe you only do it 3 times, but every time you do that, if you're a rambler, if you're a motorcyclist, you're gonna try it a little differently. You're gonna experiment with like your limits, and it doesn't mean that you're doing something super dangerous. That's what I mean. That's why it's that balance. You're testing the limits of you and the machine. Yeah. And the whole reason, that's why we get on bikes that they don't even stand up straight on their own.
Right. They need a kickstand.
They need a kickstand to stand up straight. And that's one of the reasons why motorcycles, to me, are more moving than 4-wheeled vehicles, because they literally are perfectly in balance in between this sort of like,
they're almost alive.
They are. Like, and their whole design is, we talked about this also, is built around the human form. Yeah. Like the way the wheels are, the way the seat is, everything is built to fit a human being. So it's like, it is a machine for rambling. It's the only machine that doesn't have some kind of ulterior motive.
Right. I was going to say that's its only purpose.
It's its only purpose.
Right. I think about like the way that a motorcycle seemingly rights itself
Mhm.
after a turn. I'm like, and every time I do that,
Mm.
that feels like magic every single time, and it
Mhm.
never gets old. And it always amazes me that like we get to do this kind of stuff.
Mhm. And let's spread this out from motorcycling
Yeah.
too. It doesn't have to just be motorcycles we're talking about. We can talk about why in the world did Edmund, it's tr- um,
Edmund Fitzgerald.
not Fitzgerald,
A great song.
Tenzing Norgay and who's the the New Zealander who went to the top of Mount Everest?
I have no clue, but it's
Edmund
really
Hillary.
cool.
Edmund Hillary. Why would you climb Mount Everest? Like, what would possess him? It's this tall. We know it's this tall. We've flown an airplane around it. We know exactly what's going on. But the idea that we needed to do that, why do we climb mountains? And they don't have to be Mount Everest.
Right.
Why do you do that? It's uncomfortable. There's nothing comfortable about literally climbing thousands of feet in the air where there's less oxygen. You can't even breathe well, other than you're testing yourself. And part of that process is being prepared, having the right tools that you bring along in your man purse. I'm just giving you
crossbody. I know.
Like, because I completely agree. I think
love it.
It's a fantastic way. It's like we have multiple ways that we've figured out to bring these tools with us so that we can ramble. And this is a great way of talking about rambling. It's like rambling is not just like aimlessly wandering around. It's being engaged in this pursuit of, I would even argue, of excellence.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're trying to do when we wander, when we go sail a boat. We're sailing. We're doing these things that require a level of skill.
Yeah.
Like shifting gears, balancing the bike, managing your speed, all these traction, all these things, all these factors that are being thrown at you. Why do you, sports?
Yeah.
Any sport is the same way. Like the risk of injury in like soccer is way higher than if you just sat on your sofa.
Right. Exactly.
Why would you do? And you have to, you're sweating.
But I can watch soccer on TV, Richard.
Right. Well, there's fun in that too, because you're participating as a team. You have a team that's doing something similar.
To be a part of something bigger than yourself.
Yep.
Often requires a level of discomfort.
So I think to answer the provocative thumbnail, is discomfort the point? I think it is. I think it actually is the point. Like, and it's not, obviously, if you just said, I'm going to like go, like Mark Swag was joking with me before this. He's like, what is it, like the point to like lie on a bed of nails? And I mean, that's a great example, because lying on a bed of nails has no point.
Yeah. Well,
actually, it has several.
There's lots. Yeah.
But
we're really one and the same today.
But any of these activities, rambling activities, they have a point. The point is that you're like testing. I mean, maybe a bed of nails has a point if you're like trying to test your, willpower or something. But that's a pretty like small segment of ramblers.
Oftentimes the test is internal, right? I think about, because
it's always internal. It's always personal.
No one's asking you to take that corner again or to climb the mountain.
It's an intrinsically personal activity.
I'm going to do this to see if I can do it. And that's it. And that's where joy comes from. That's
to take joy in the process.
Right.
Yep.
So my buddy and I, we have a saying when we're doing something that's really freaking hard. We say, seek bones.
Seek bones?
Seek bones. Huh. Like, go after death. Like, it's a very, like, kind of egregious and overly kind of wooey, but it rings.
I mean, we can start talking about that. We can get into some very deep topics.
I feel like it rings true. Like, what is there's a stoicism thought exercise called it's remembering your death. Like, remember that you are going to die.
Memento mori.
Yeah. Remember that you're going to die, and that you only have one life, and that you've only got one chance to do this. So you remember your death every day. You remember that you're going to die. So what are you going to do so that when you get to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm dying, you look back at your life and go, I did it.
Yeah. I mean, memento mori. It's all. Yeah, there's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Where
like
like what we talked about with like riding a motorcycle. We don't get on. I mean, there are some people that get on a motorcycle in a t-shirt and flip flops and just like pop a wheelie down interstates. I mean, that's their choice, but
Right.
it may be against the law. But most for like 99% of motors, 0.9. What does he say?
So we should all ride Kawasaki
Two-stroke
two-stroke triple
triples?
to pursue death.
Amen, brother.
Yep.
No, like when any of it, 99% of 0.9% of motorcyclists, when they get on their bike, what do? They take very calculated risks.
Right.
We're balancing our skill set versus the risk.
Yeah.
And everything in life is like that. You walk out, you wake up, and you're taking on risks. What risks are you going to take?
Yeah.
For some people, I mean, I would hope that at some point we can get this Ramblestream universal enough that not everyone on here is a motorcyclist.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Some people are going to choose to ramble hiking, diving, mountaineering, whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be like super glamorous,
Right.
right? Like walking.
But
You're in any of those situations, you are putting yourself out there. You're meeting new people. When you put yourself in uncomfortable positions, this is where it gets to. Not just joy. You transform yourself. And that's what I talk about in the Rambo Companion too, is like, it's transformative.
Right.
And that's what makes people wake up. And that is the difference between being one of these little guys on a floating lily pad with his little TV screen in front of him in Wall-E. Like, there is no transformation happening. And I believe we require that.
Yeah.
But yeah, boy, this has gotten a really philosophical Ramblestream here.
Wally is the ultimate rambler. He
Yeah,
broke
right,
free
it's
from
true.
the mold.
It's true, yeah.
He's like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm gonna fall in love as a robot, even though I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Wall-E,
We'll
see
put
the
on
film.
the Ramblers Companion watch list,
yeah.
which is definitely a thing. Let's look at some comments here. Jeff said, discomfort is motivation and brings out tons of creativity. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Riding a motorcycle makes me a more careful driver. That's an interesting
How about
thought.
this one? Walk like an Egyptian. Old school.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
What does
Maybe
that
it's uncomfortable.
It is. I feel like that would get tiresome after a while. Is that how Egyptians really walked? I mean, come
Dan
on.
Radimsky says the Wall-E chairs were made by Tesla.
You know, Dan, listen, I feel like you're coming at me here. I won't be a Wally chair guy, I promise.
You're putting your hope, Kelly. This is an interesting point. You're putting trust in the hopes that other people won't kill you out on the road. Now that is true.
Yeah.
But you're doing the same thing when you get in a car, or you flying an airplane, or you have any other activity. Is the same story. It's what risks are you willing to take, and how do you I wear protective gear.
Yeah.
I wear a helmet, and then before I get on a bike, I don't just hop on it with the same carefree attitude that I get in a car.
Yeah.
Where you put your seatbelt on and you're pretty well, like the risks are much lower.
Right.
Which is why driving a car doesn't have the same transformative effect, and why people
Exactly.
love riding motorcycles. Then anybody you talk to, whether it's an old grizzled Harley rider or a sport bike rider, they say they like the wind in their face and the sense of freedom.
Bugs in your teeth.
And I think they're right.
Yeah. I think we're almost out of time here, but just a thought, like, it's really interesting to see the dynamic between the danger that is socially accepted versus the danger that is unsocially accepted. Like you flying in a plane or driving a car.
What do you mean by not socially accepted?
Like things like climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, really out there.
Like crazy, insane things. Scuba diving. Like,
well, here's one I did that wasn't super dangerous.
Yeah.
But when I was 14, and I did something called it was with Boy Scouts. I did something called a 50-20.
Okay.
And what you do is you hike 50 miles in 20 hours.
Wow.
And by about like I don't know how many miles I was into it. The only thing keeping me going was my will to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But through that, I mean, it was one of the most transformative experiences I've ever had.
Yeah.
I'm just like hiking by myself at night, like just going.
Single mission.
It's all I got to do is get to that point.
One goal.
Yeah. And by the time I was done, I mean, like, I still remember the like exultation of like finishing that thing and being like, I did it.
Yeah.
this is amazing.
Yeah, I did. I completed 75 hard.
What is that?
It's a program where you do 2 workouts a day. One has to be outside. You have to drink a gallon of water. You have to pick a diet and stick to it. You have to read.
It's just a discipline.
Right. It's like it's a discipline. It's a no mercy, no grace kind of program where it's like if you fail, like you start over. And that same feeling on day 75, like I finished my last run and I'm like,
Do you ever notice that when you do that, there's like a moment at the end where you kind of like almost have like sadness?
it's like, well, now what?
Well, because I've noticed. Well, we'll round this out by saying I think that another really cool takeaway from this is that rambling, riding a motorcycle, whatever you do it, is a discipline.
Yeah.
Like that, I think that's another way of like these disciplines are things that transform you over time. They open you to joy and excellence. But it is interesting. It's almost like I remember like in school, I'd be working on a school, like an architecture project, and you've been working on this thing for an entire semester. And what we would do is hand drafting everything and then watercolor rendering it. And it's just like, you're in there 24/7.
Yeah.
By the last week, you don't even leave the studio. You're just trying to get it done. And every single time when it was over, I don't know if this undermines my argument, but I would just be like washed in this sort of like sorrow that it was over. Right? Like, isn't that weird?
It felt like
I didn't know what to do with myself.
It felt like I lost my sense of purpose.
Yep, exactly.
Like, okay, well, it's gone.
But if you do that over and over and over again,
it gives you an equation, right?
You know, it's the habit.
You know exactly what is going to bring you joy, and it's not comfort. It's not sitting on your couch and watching Netflix all day. It's not being safe. It's finding something that brings you purpose. That's hard. That makes you uncomfortable.
And I can keep running on this. But
I know.
Another difference is that a lot of times these things are they're a valuable thing, like putting food on the table, providing for a family, or just getting work done.
Yeah.
You know, like you have a responsibility to do something. That's one thing, which this is equally true of that. I think there's another moment where this is really important for all of us that we don't actually remember very well today. And that's what the actual meaning of the word leisure is. And I do talk about this in the Rambler's Companion. And leisure is not sitting on the sofa watching, Netflix or something.
Right.
Leisure is when you take time to work on yourself. And so leisure can often be very busy and hard work and very uncomfortable. But it's like going on a camping trip.
Yeah.
Or going on a camping trip, if it rains, like all the trouble of packing up the wet gear, getting home, drying it out, like there's all this work, but we still want to do it. We still have fun. And when we come back, we feel like we accomplished something. And that's that working on yourself. Yeah. So I think for the most part, motorcycles, and I catch flack sometimes from people for this, but I think motorcycles, because they've honed in on this, they're the only machine that works for 100% for the human being. They have no, obviously there's other, like I'm talking about like developed countries, the way we use motorcycles now as it's a leisure tool.
Right.
It's a machine, completely mechanical machine that allows us to engage in this discipline of leisure.
Yeah.
And obviously we have other boats, hiking sticks, and all these other fishing rods and all these other airplanes that we can do that in. But there's something really unique about the motorcycle.
Feels like magic when you ride one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to for me.
Yeah.
That's why I ride.
Because
it feels like magic. We're out of time. We could have probably gone for forever, I think, on that topic. Maybe we should have given ourselves more time.
Well, we have talked about doing, I'm going to spill the beans a little bit, but it won't be really like orchestrated or any pattern, but maybe we might do is start the Ramblestream like when we first turn the camera on.
Yeah. Like
so
when we're ready to go.
I don't know, like 6:30 or so ish.
Uh-huh.
It won't be like a specific time, and just start rambling a little early. We'll still run the video. Maybe we'll do that, and you'll catch a little bit less filtered programmed.
I would imagine the severely less filtered, less programmatic version of Jansen and Richard. But it's been a great stream.
It's been a fun one. It's been a fun one. I hope you all have enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments if you like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We love to hear it. Send me an email. Send us an email at rambling@janusmotorcycles.com. And we'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you think. Jansen's really been being helpful with trying new things. So you may probably noticed our thumbnails are a little bit all over the place. Our video content's kind of all over the place. We're trying new things. We're trying to see what y'all enjoy and how we spread the gospel of rambling.
Oh, the gospel of rambling. Do you know your Rambler?
Verse. Chapter 5. Chapter and verse.
Chapter and verse.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We will have another Ramble Stream next week. It'll be Ramble Stream number 84. Really, something about the mic today, like it's really picking up the bass. I like
it feels nice. We did change it. I did change them a little bit on the fly. See, you would have picked it up if you tuned into the pre-ramble. But
okay. All right,
go for the bones.
We're gonna call this.
Said.
We're gonna call this quits. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you all next week at the same time, the same place. Bye-bye.
Bye.